So if I was supposed to talk to you about crit Jinx, or even lethality Jinx if you're feeling a little spicy and off meta, what's the keystones that probably come to mind? Exactly. Dark Harvest is not one of any of those keystones that you just thought of. But to be honest, I saw Redmercy do this video about his champion and it worked, so I figured why not copy success. So yes, I am copying Redmercy in fact, because that's what gets the views and stuff. With that being said, on a serious note, before we get into this video, if you end up liking this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe as well. But we will be talking actually about the new Dark Harvest on Jinx legitimately, and actually in both avenues, right? Because when you're thinking Dark Harvest or anything that's not really fleet footwork on Jinx, you probably are working in the off-meta realm, but there is actually a crit build that can work with Dark Harvest a little bit too, because of the nature of how Dark Harvest now works, period. You harvest souls, especially if you kill someone below half health, and it kind of scales indefinitely right now. For some reason you're just popping off, but not like ending the game and just getting a lot of infinite kills. That can work with the crit build as well, and then it makes your crit, a little bit more effective. It doesn't really scale on the crit itself, but the extra damage behind the crit is what I'm saying. The damage from the Dark Harvest, I should say, behind then the crit damage you will have in the late game, kind of means you won't get outscaled. If for some reason you're having a game like that, where you're just getting like 20 kills, you're hard carrying, maybe the comp was built around you, and as such it's like a kind of like a protect the Jinx, let Jinx scale, and let Jinx destroy everybody kind of a game, especially if you leave lane with some kills as well too. But on the off-meta side of it, usually even on the lethality side of it, you don't think of Dark Harvest as a keystone to go. Maybe some people do, but usually go into the celerity and the sorcery tree to try and get both of the cooldown reduction runes from both it and the inspiration trees, and then you usually kind of settle with something like Comet or Airy. But in this particular case, with the new Dark Harvest, it actually can work on lethality Jinx way more than crit Jinx too, and it's actually very effective. Of course, for those that aren't really, expert in lethality Jinx, it pretty much scales off of both the W and her ultimate, as a matter of fact. And it takes the ultimate, which usually kind of only can kill somebody when they're low on health, and makes it something that can half health someone at full health even at level 18 if they don't have like any armor, or like the 80 carry, which scales like really little armor. So you can two-shot somebody with the W and the ultimate. It's kind of a little bit of a fun playstyle some people kind of try, and more of the rotating game mode queues, or even Nexus Blitz or ARAM, not really in ranked, and that's part of one of the reasons why those things can get blocked and missed, because they're both skill shots. So you usually go with crit, you usually rely on auto attacks. That goes very well with Jinx, and in a build like that, this is a keystone that can go into late game. And the main reason I'm actually making this video is because I've seen some debate about what is a good keystone on Jinx, especially now that the stats are going to be separated, right? Like, because you don't have to go precision to get the stats that you want, is Fleet Footwork now, a little bit less appealing on Jinx? Or is it even as good as it was? Or Lethal Temple, of course, or the other ones as well, by the way. I'm using one to keep it kind of simple, but yes, all of the ones in precision. Do you have to go that route? And we've kind of talked about this a bit in the past, because you can now get the stats from somewhere else. Because if you can get the stats from somewhere else, why do you have to go those if you maybe wanted to go something else like a Dark Harvest for whatever reason? Of course, follow your heart. I ain't gonna judge you. But that's kind of the main point why I'm making this video too, is to have a further discussion about what keystone do we want to build on Jinx going forwards, because we don't have to build precision for the stats. The answer could still be, Lethal Tempo or Fleet Footwork. Those are still end up being like the really good ones to take regardless, because Jinx is not really as flexible as other champions that might be able to go to several lanes. But that's why I kind of also am jokingly and also somewhat seriously talking about Dark Harvest in this video, because there are some other playstyles, because some people really like Jinx, but they're not always a fan of the bot lane all the time. So they want to play Jinx, and they're going to still play Jinx, but play Jinx maybe in another role. As someone myself who loves to experiment playing different ways of playing Jinx as well, I'm probably never going to legitimately tell you to try and climb rank with anything other than crit Jinx. But if you're kind of playing for fun, or you're trying to put the fun back in the league with some off-meta stuff, Dark Harvest now might be like a little bit better at least, of a lethality keystone you can take if you weren't really feeling Comet and Airy as it was, right? You kind of took those because those were kind of in sorcery and kind of with the cooldown stuff that you wanted to do. But now with the stat runes, there is a cooldown rune in there from 1 to 10% based off of level. So now that kind of eliminates the need to take both the inspiration and the sorcery trees for that. You can now get that in one of your stat runes and then go into the domination tree and go grab Dark Harvest, and then scale into the late game too. Because the main problem also with lethality and lethality Jinx is that it's something that you want to snowball with, but like snowball actually early in the game and not let the game go late. You want to snowball lethality, you want to get, and most lethality users, assassins and stuff too, you don't want it to go to the late game. The whole reason you have lethality is to try and kill squishy targets early, snowball that way, and close the game around like the 25 before the 30-minute mark when tanks start getting tanky and late game hyper carries start getting too shoddy with their crits. Same thing kind of even with lethality Jinx. You want to actually scale that lethality, poke people down, and try and snowball the game that way too. Dark Harvest was always kind of the, hey, but what if you were kind of maybe an assassin or something that wanted to go late game? This is what you would pick up instead. And now, because of the way it works, because of the way the souls are and stuff like that, it does scale. It still takes a while. You're not going to get like a bajillion damage by like 30 minutes, even if you are doing decently well. You have to kind of be like getting a kill a minute, if not more. But once you do start stacking them up, they do start being impactful. And even on lethality Jinx, I'm probably playing some gameplay footage right now. There are times where I don't know if the numbers are going to show because there was actually an issue with recording. Sorry about that. But there's, you know, we got above 12,000 and then like on a W, and with the ultimate, sometimes I would half health somebody for over 1,000 damage. And it kept scaling like that for each more souls harvested. And if I had the patience, and also if the practice tool lasted more than 55 minutes, which it doesn't, it'll automatically end, by the way, you could get into like, you know, 1,500. Back in the days in early season 7 where there was a change on the PvE that made Jinx's W zap crit. It's kind of like you can get up to that amount of damage scaling with Dark Harvest on even lethality build, let alone a crit build, in which case zap itself won't be what's going to be the main source of your damage there. It's still going to be an auto-based heavy, you know, kind of idea, but you could still then have a little bit extra punch behind your abilities and stuff like that is what I'm basically saying. So in a world where I've also seen people talk about they wish Jinx's abilities were a bit more useful, maybe that's something you can experiment with, and I put an emphasis on experiment because you should probably experiment with this before you take it anywhere, and then if you take it anywhere, probably take it in more casual game modes, unless for some reason if this video empowers you to be like the most OP, highest win rate percentage, and highest like elo like ranked Dark Harvest Jinx one trick in like the world, first of all, you're welcome. I'm just kidding. You know, but at the same time, if that does enable you to do that, then yeah, go, you know what, like I said, shoot for the stars. I ain't gonna stop you, but what I am saying is this is a little bit more for the casual audience more so than the ranked audience, because I kind of try and do both, right? I try and do some videos that's like, hey, for ranked, this, and this, but sometimes I throw in a casual video for like, hey, if you're just in it for the fun, here's something you might want to try, the new Dark Harvest on Jinx. Lethality Jinx specifically, but even crit Jinx, it can kind of work. So with that being said, that's all for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Thank you so much for watching, but I don't know which video will be next, because life can have a lot of kinks. So until next time, take care. GG, get jinxed. Thank you for watching, and enjoy pizza responsibly.